like this. Wow, this book is huge. Oh, hello YouTube friends and neighbors. I'm sitting here reading one of my favorite ZiGGY books. Alright guys, so today I am doing a tour of my collector room. Now in 2001 to 2004 or 5-ish, my wife and I collected a whole ton of DVDs. So I constructed these shelves, as you see behind me, to put all the DVDs, and we got to the point where we had 6,000 or so DVDs. So we had these walls full. Now what happened was in 2006, when we decided to start working on our store, we sold off all our movies. We sold them for a good amount of money. And I just turned this room into a storeroom. So I had loaded it up with all my ZiGGY collection and all kinds of stuff. Floor to ceiling, I have really high ceilings. They're like 12 feet all the way to the front here. Full of boxes and stuff. And it was like that for a couple years. And then when my wife got pregnant, we decided to clear this room out and do something with it just to give us a little bit more space in our apartment. So I moved everything out and I decided to start setting up these shelves with all my favorite ZiGGY stuff. Now, I believe my ZiGGY collection is probably the largest in the world. I don't know anyone else who has a collection anywhere near the size. I mean, there might be someone out there, I don't know. But I do have a lot of ZiGGY stuff. So this is a small portion of my collection. This is more the figure roll stuff and the toys and that kind of stuff. I don't have the dolls. I don't have the mugs. You know, I have 500 mugs. I have 500 plus different dolls. I have a lot of ZiGGY stuff. So I figured today was a great day to do a tour of this room. Now what happened was I set up these walls really nicely. And then a couple years ago when I decided to start doing YouTube videos, I refilled this room up. I filled it up with so many comic books. Floor to ceiling, comics, toys, boxes, all the way to the front of the room. The room was full. It became just a giant storage room. So, and I've been filming in my office, which is kind of crowded in itself. So what I decided was it was time to clear out this room again because I think this is a better room for filming. My only problem is I have a very loud compressor for the restaurant next door that makes the sound a little bit bad in this room. But I think the room looks cool and I'm going to work on that, trying to fix the sound and make it just a better space so that I can do more videos and better videos more often. As you might have noticed, I didn't release any videos in July because I was sorting this room. I had like 40,000 comics in here. I've been sorting through them, trying to pull out my duplicates to put in my store and just make a little bit more room so I can do more videos. So hopefully after I do this tour, I'm going to set up the room even a little bit more. I might end up changing out all the ZiGGY stuff and put something else in here. I'm not 100% sure. It might be something I change once a month just to make a different backdrop so it's not boring. But I think it'll be fun. So let's start this tour. First, I just wanted to show you this giant ZiGGY book. This book is from 1968. It's technically the first appearance of ZiGGY. Now, back in 1968, they made a series of greeting card books. American Greetings did that were like that big. They were, get well books, happy birthday books, and this is one of them. But this isn't the one that was for sale. This one was a salesman sample. Now, I got this from a woman whose father was a salesman for American Greetings back in the 1960s. He went from store to store with his giant book. He would set it up. He would show them. He would use this to sell the mini books. So this version of the book, super rare. I mean, this might be one of the last ones left in the world. I don't know. I've never seen it before. I don't know how many people have it. I just know I'm super happy to have it. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. So it's technically a super rare variant, the very first appearance of ZiGGY. Now, the regular version of this book is pretty common. You can find it pretty easily, but this one, good luck finding it because it was, super rare. Okay, let's get this tour started. Okay, so on this wall, I have a bunch of boxes of comic books. These are kind of my sorting boxes where I try to put a lot of one title in the box. Then later on when I have time, I actually try to sort through them through my other boxes to pull out duplicates and whatnot. I buy a lot of comic books, so it takes a lot of effort to actually get through them and get them in order. And sometimes I just don't have the time. And then on the right side there, you can see I have a bunch of art books and toy books and some comic related books. And on the top of the wall, I have a bunch of boxes full of toys. Just action figures, dolls, all that kind of stuff. Now, my ceilings are really high, so I could fit a lot of stuff in this room. So when it was full, I literally had it wall to wall, floor to ceiling full of boxes. Okay, let's pan over to this wall. Now, as you can see, this is the wall that I've been using as my backdrop lately, the last couple days. And it's the wall that has, I think, the most interesting things for my ZiGGY collection. I'm going to do a close-up of everything on this wall and kind of discuss it a little bit. But as you can see, the ceilings are really high. They're like 11 or 12 feet. So I have stuff all the way to the ceiling. Tons and tons and tons of ZiGGY stuff. Now let me pan over to the other wall. Now this is the larger wall. I have a ton of stuff on this wall. The bottom shelf, you can see I have some video games. What I started doing a few years ago is I started putting some of my video games on this wall. But I never really finished it. I think I only got about 20 or 30% of my collection on the wall, and I think I've purchased a whole lot since. I like retro games. I like newer games. I just don't like paying a lot of money for them. So whenever I can find a cool game for $1 or $2, I'll pick it up. I don't have all the best games or anything like that, but I do have a lot of interesting stuff. As you can see on this wall, I have all kinds of stuff. I have ZiGGY stuff. I have some handmade robots. I got some animatronic figures that I really like. Lots of games, lots of ZiGGY stuff. I'll pan up here. You can see all kinds of stuff on this wall. And again, the ceilings are really, really high. So I got a ton of stuff on here. So let's move from this wall to this little teeny wall I have on the side here. This little wall, just the rest of the room, it just opens up to my living room. So on the bottom, I just have some random stuff. This is kind of like a hodgepodge shelf. I have some robots I made. I have some Blu-rays. I have some Gru figures. I just have a little bit of a mix of just a catch-all of stuff I have. So let's go from this little wall all the way back over to the other side, and let's take a closer look at this shelf right here. Okay, let's start on some of the bookshelves. I'll show you a couple of the books I have. I love Ashley Wood, so any of his hardcover books, I mean all his comics, his books, any of the stuff he's done, I will buy those books. I absolutely love them. I love the juxtaposed type artists from the last 10 years or so I'll buy any book I see. This is a Camille Rose Garcia, really awesome book. I also like Art Deco era, so I'll buy any, how do you say his name? Musha? I love his artwork. Is that how you say his name? Very awesome book. I'll pick up any doll collecting book. I have hundreds. I mean, some of them are a little bit boring, and then you have other ones that are really awesome. And then the toy books that show all the vinyl toys from the mid 2000s. This is when I started collecting all the art toys in like 2004, 2005. So these books are really cool. And let's see what else is cool on this book. We have Winsor McKay, very awesome early comic strip Sunday comics artist. One of my all-time favorite artists. I'll buy any book that he's worked on. I'll have some classic comic guys. I have this book on Kirby. Obviously, an awesome Silver Age, Golden Age artist. I have this cool Alex Ross mythology book. I love books about comic books as well as comic books. So I'll pick up almost anything as long as it's and also I'll pick up cool little art books that have interesting art toys in them. So this book just looks really cool. I'm not going to show you everything on this shelf, but I like the 1970s fairy and gnome books. There's just something about the artwork and the way these books look that I just absolutely love. The illustrations are beautiful. It just reminds me of that era, which I feel like you don't see as often anymore. So I love that book. That's the gnome one that was released. And I don't have the hardcover, I just have the soft cover of the fairy one. But this one's also got such beautiful artwork in it. All these little fairies. I love it. Very 70s. Oh, and let me show you this book. This book, it's not in the best condition, but when I saw it, I knew I had to have it. It's the cover looks boring. You're just like, what is this? Is this thing a Stutz jacket? But it's all just houses made by people that are like eccentric, building weird castles and whatever, that they just build their own homes out of junk. And I love this book. This book is absolutely gorgeous. I need to find a better copy of it. Okay, I'll show you the shelf above. I think the very top shelf has some ball joint doll books, some Japanese toy magazines. This shelf here has just a bunch of Japanese toy magazines, some more art toy books, some collector books. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I love. I love all of that. I'll grab a couple of the best from that shelf. This book right here is probably one of my favorite doll books. This artist that makes these ball joint dolls, she is just amazing. I would love to own one of her dolls one day, but the price of them has gone through the roof. Tens of thousands. Okay, just gorgeous. She makes these beautiful, intricate pieces to put on her dolls. Anyway, this book is a beautiful, but this is the second print. I missed out on the first print. I think there's a cheaper softcover version you can get now. I paid $100 for that book, but it was worth it. It's one of my all-time favorite books. You know, I got a ton of Japanese toy magazines. I love these things. I would like to get a full collection of every single Japanese toy magazine. This is Hobby Japan, just page after page of awesome toys and model kits and all kinds of stuff. I can sit there for an hour going through each one of these magazines, and I just have so much fun looking at them. One of my dreams is to go to Japan one day and hit up every single used store and try to buy as many of those as I can. I would like, Book Off has 400 or 500, 600 locations, something like that. I would buy so many magazines if I went there. And then I like books on people's collections. This is, I forget the guy, but he worked in the movie industry, so he has all these props and cool old school sci-fi and horror stuff in his collection. So this is just a fun book looking at all the stuff that he has. Okay, so and then to the side here, I do have a few anime box sets and some video game stuff. Nothing too exciting. And then on the bottom shelf here, let's see, this one I have some Lego books. I have some more Japanese, these are Japanese doll magazines. Let's show you some. This is Dolly Dolly magazine. A very, very beautiful magazine with just tons of doll pictures in it. I love toy magazines like this. Japan makes such nice toy magazines. You could spend hours and hours looking through all of these. I love the Tomart's early 90s action figure catalog. It's so much fun. You just go through here and it has page after page of vintage toys, so you can learn about all kinds of old toy lines. And you know, if you grew up in the era, you're gonna see stuff you had, and if you're a little bit younger, it'll be just fun to see all this older stuff all in one book. So if you could pick up one of these for $5-10, that's a ton of fun to go through that. I don't know, again, I buy any kind of doll book I see. This is composition dolls. This would have been 30s through 60s. Well, this one's from 1900 to 1950. So I'm really not a fan of baby dolls, but stuff like a Puss in Boots kind of creepy cat doll, that's the kind of stuff I really love. And then, you look through the book, and some of the stuff is kind of boring to me, but I like the history of toys and dolls and that kind of stuff, so I enjoy every kind of book. See, I just have more pick up ball joint doll books. Any book on ball joint dolls. These are really fancy. I would love to own some ball joint dolls one day. Okay, and then let's go a little bit lower. All right, the bottom shelf here, not the bottom shelf, but this shelf is all children's books. I do love collecting children's books that have cool illustrations. This is a local artist that I don't know if he still lives in my neighborhood, but he used to put graffiti of these robots all over the neighborhood. So when I saw he had a book out with his robots, I knew I had to get that. So I love children's books with really cool illustrations in them. Let's see what this is. Weird sci-fi children's books. This is the worst band in the universe. It has these really cool aliens and stuff. And this stuff this isn't really collectible in the sense that people pay a ton of money for it. So I will always flip through children's books really quick, and if I see a cool one for $1, I'll buy it. Just because it's fun. And then, my son is learning to read. He can check them out. This guy, I really love this guy's artwork. Dance and Tat. I first saw him on DeviantArt in like 2005, 2006. So I remember just looking at the artwork and just thinking it's gorgeous. So again, I love children's books that just have really beautiful illustrations in them. It's a fun thing to collect, and you can collect it relatively cheap. Okay, and then below the children's books, nothing too exciting. This is just a binder full of DS games and Game Boy games. Again, I'll pick up any video game if it's a buck or two. It's fun. I mean, I don't play all of them as much as I would like, but it's it's fun just having it because sometimes you're bored and you want to play something and you got a collection, you can go through it. I got my Akira books here. I love Akira. I love the Katsuhiro Otomo artwork. These are the Americanized colored versions. Absolutely beautiful to me. I love these. I'm missing, I think, 4 or 5 issues to complete the set. Hopefully, I'm going to work on that soon to finish all that. And then just on the bottom here, I have the complete Farce Guide books. Those, I love comic strips. I love the history comic strips. They came before comic books. Again, I'm a huge ZiGGY fan, so he's important to comic strips. So I like getting these complete volumes of just really big printed versions of all the comic strips for that. And then over here, I don't know if you guys remember this site, but it was called brickfilms.com. I don't think it exists anymore, but back before YouTube in the early 2000s, I guess, 2002, 2003, this website called brickfilms.com had people doing stop motions Lego videos. So I ordered this from the site because I really enjoyed those videos, and I kind of missed that site. I kind of wanted to do those for a while. I love Legos. I'm a big Lego fan, so that's a cool DVD. I'm really happy I have that. When I sold my DVD collection, I kept a few things like Akihabara Geeks. This is just visits, different people's rooms and kind of geeky culture in Japan. And then we have another mini Tomart's book. I love these. I just love looking at pictures of action figures and toys and stuff. This makes me happy. Okay, that's I could spend all day talking about this wall, but let's start going through all the ZiGGY stuff. Okay, on this shelf we have some of the balloon ZiGGYs. A lot of times I find them, they're broken. Most of the time, actually, I think the blue one I had to actually glue it back together. But I'll buy them anytime I see them because they are pretty rare. This one's missing the balloon. That one's got a little wire on it. This is a German ZiGGY. These are some American snow globes, some American ornaments. And, okay, let's go to the next shelf. This shelf is a bunch of candles. These are probably from the late 70s, early 80s. Candles are kind of hard to collect because, I think these two are German. They're just their candles. They don't even, they get beat up and they don't look that cool. But I still love them. I love anything ZiGGY. I'm a ZiGGY collector. I'll collect it all. Okay, this shelf is a lot of homemade ZiGGY stuff. Now, I don't go out of my way to buy homemade stuff. If you see stuff on Etsy, if you buy one, the person's going to keep on making them. So before you know it, you just keep on buying more and more stuff from them. And so unless it's like a really cool homemade ZiGGY thing, I usually avoid buying it. And then we got some ornaments and some wind-up ZiGGYs. Okay, this shelf is really cool. These stampers are really rare. I bought a couple of these from my ZiGGY friend who died a few years ago. So I'm just happy to have a few things from her collection in my collection. But they're really cool. Okay, these are German ZiGGYs. These figurines, I believe this is early ZiGGY item, this key ring, early 70s. The pencil cases, these guys are from Japan. And these guys up top here, sitting in the chair, those are all from Germany. The German figures are a little bit rarer, harder to find. Okay, and then on this shelf, I have a whole bunch of the German figures. And I have a bunch of the tin litho candle tins on top. I really like those. Those are really cool. And the German figures are really cool, except for the one with the shamrock. I think that might be British, which is really rare. The British ZiGGY stuff is some of the rarest stuff that is out there. But yeah, lots more German ZiGGY figures. I love the German ZiGGY figures. They're really cool. And the tin litho candles. Oh, wait. This one, I think this one is a prototype, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's got some markings on the bottom that just, some sample information. This one you just never see, so I'm pretty sure it's one of a kind or very, very rare. It wasn't one that was commercially available, so it's really exciting to own stuff like that. Right, this shelf has a bunch of ceramic eggs. I like collecting those. This one's a candle. More ceramic eggs. I think a couple of these are banks. This is kind of a rare plastic cup. You don't see them from this series. I think this is from the late 80s. You don't see them too often. And then in the back is all my enamelware mugs. I absolutely love the enamelware mugs. They're, they're tin with enamel on the outside of them. So you can, they got a nice tin sound. And I absolutely love the Halloween ones. I have a couple Halloween ones. It's been years since I found one that I don't own. I think the last one I found was from Japan. And if you saw a video that I did of one of my ZiGGY openings maybe a year ago, is when I got it. Okay, so on this shelf I have a bunch of candle holders. The bottom ones are glass and the top ones are ceramic. They're not too rare, but just fun to have a whole bunch of different ones. And then over on the other side here I have a bunch of candles, which are kind of hard to find in good shape. Usually they're kind of crushed or broken. And on the end there I have just a candle. On this bottom shelf I have this mug from this set. This set's a little bit harder to find, so you don't see them too often. Bell, I'm missing the thing inside the bell. These style bells are a little bit rarer. More of the candle holders. That one. Love bells. Some vintage 70s glasses. More ceramic figures. Nothing too exciting on this shelf. This is just kind of a common shelf that I put stuff on. This bottom shelf is just really big beer glasses. They're kind of easy and common to get. I've had a lot of people giving them to me over the years as gifts. They'll find them in different thrift stores, and people tend to not throw out glasses because they're usable. Who doesn't want a giant glass to put your soda in, or your beer, or whatever you're drinking? They're fun to have. I'm probably missing one or two. I'm not 100% sure. I just never really go out my way to find them. Okay, this shelf, I have two figures that are still on the card. I don't know what these versions are because normally they came on a retail card and not just like a clear card. I don't know if these are prototypes. I think I got them from someone who worked there. And they're getting a little bit of the oil gathering. A lot of plastic toys over a long period of time will sort of leach out the oils a little bit and it'll gather on the plastic. It's kind of hard to avoid. One of the few plush dolls I have out on this shelf, I really like this one. This one was only in Canada, so he's a little bit harder to find. Very common pumpkin one. I just have him out because he's cute. And a couple of stampers. And then I have on the top of my shelves, I have a bunch of these vinyl figures. They're all body is vinyl, but the clothing and the arms are cloth. I really like them. They're not too rare, but they can get pricier. At least back in the day, they would be between 20 and 40 bucks, but I think the price has gone down a little bit. There's not as many ZiGGY collectors out there anymore. I love them though. I think they're really awesome. And I think I have most of the ones I've made. I don't know if there's any that I've seen that I don't have. And I've collected so many of these over the years. And I have a lot of duplicates of them. These are probably just the best example I have of each one. But I absolutely love them. And then this shelf, I have a bunch of trophies. These were a big, I think Aviva made them. They were big in the early 80s. I think you get Snoopy, Smurfs, other things that are similar to these trophies. And then I have just a lot more trophies. They made a ton of these things. I don't know how many different I have, 30, 40? And some of them have different little sayings, so it'll be the same one with a different saying. But, if it's ZiGGY, I want to own it. I'll pick these up. It's usually when I skip over them when I see, like, if I'm going to look on eBay, I just don't look at them anymore because I have so many. But every once in a while, something will jump out and realize they'll have a different word saying or something will be a little bit different. But it's not really something I'm looking for too much anymore because I have them all. Or at least I have all the ones I know about. There might be a few that I just don't know about that I've never seen that might exist out there. And it's kind of, I have all these up on top of the shelf, so it's kind of hard to film them. But yeah, they're cool. I like them. I just like that they're colorful and they're big, graphical. I know other people probably have a collection of these of all the other characters that they made over the years. But I like them. They're fun. And then, yeah, no, I do really like these vinyl figures. I think they're some of my favorite. The plush dolls are probably my all-time favorite because that's what I played with as a kid. But I really do like these vinyl figures. I remember seeing them and gift shops in the 80s, but they were maybe $10, $15, more than I could afford when I was a little kid. I never really got them as gifts. But as an adult, if I see one I've never seen before, I'll buy it. Because I love them. I think they're really cool. And they're vinyl figures. They're like Funko Pops, way before Funko Pops. And I don't think there's any that I need that I know of. And most of these are complete with tags. There might be a couple that I need to find that need their tags. But, and as you might see, I might have a few duplicates here. Prisoner of Love. I love the Postman. This Graduation Bank, I don't see that often. It's pretty rare. I believe it's late 80s Enesco. Late 80s Enesco is kind of rare when it comes to ZiGGY. Is it 1989 Enesco? Yeah, 1989. These were from the early 2000s. I have a whole bunch of different ones. They were amusement park crane prizes. So before YouTube, but if YouTube started 5 years earlier, there'd probably be 1,000 videos of people pulling these out of the crane machines. Okay, these figures are super cool. These are from the early 70s, I believe 1972. They would have been one of the first licensed ZiGGY things that were released, and they have a very 70s look to them. If you might remember, Funko did some Star Wars figures in this style. It was a style that started in the 70s where they'd make these white beige figures and they would have funny sayings on them. Now this one says, "Go ahead, everybody else does," and there's a bird pooping on his head. This is one of the coolest things you can get as a ZiGGY collector, is the Lunchbox. They're kind of pricey. For a while there, they were selling for over $100, but I think the price has come down. You can get it. And to get it complete with thermos is what you want. And I'm not sure if this one has the tag. I know I have a couple others, and there's also a round Lunchbox I have somewhere. Very cool. And then these glues, I absolutely love these. In the late 90s, someone told me that they had these glues as a kid. They remember ZiGGY as a glue, and I hadn't seen it. It took me a few years, and then I would say 2002, 2003, I started finding them, and I found, I believe these two are the same. I just flip because they have the saying on one side and the sticker on the other, so I just flip them around. Those two are the same, and I believe these three are the same. Except this label is a little bit bluer than that, so I don't know if that just faded or if they actually just had a blue label. But yeah, see that? Those two are kind of bluish label, and then one label is a whitish label. And I'm just assuming that this is $1.59, that's $1.89. They're probably just a year apart in their releases. So I like that. I like getting all the different versions and variants of things. Okay, this is cool. This is a pencil cup from Japan. I love stuff from Japan. And then this is a wooden pencil cup from Japan. I didn't get my first Japan thing until 2006, maybe. I didn't know they existed. Now I have hundreds. I love finding ZiGGY stuff in Japan, because in the US I have everything pretty much. I don't see new stuff that often. But in Japan I see a few things a month. So it's exciting to me. Okay, I got a few flower vases. These are kind of common. And this is a mid-2000s mini lunchbox. Pretty common. Okay, and then down this shelf is one of my favorite things to collect, is these plush ZiGGYs. These are from the early 80s. And my very first ZiGGY, I had one of this ZiGGY. It says "Nobody's Perfect." I loved it. I played with it for hours and days, and I would give him baths and all that. And then one day, I went to a friend's house and it disappeared. So I got really upset. I have a feeling that a parent probably thought it was just too dirty and needed to go away. But anyway, these are some of my favorite ZiGGYs to collect, the cloth head ones. I love the ones with the little hats. I have hundreds of different. Whenever I can find a display box with all of them, I'll pick them up. These are just a few I had out. I just love them. I think they're really cute, and they're one of my favorite ZiGGY things to collect. Okay, this shelf, we have a bunch of the ceramic figures. I don't have all of them with their tags, and I think they might have even come inside a box, and I don't have the box for any of them. So that's something that I would buy if I saw it. But they're cute. I like them. I have a whole bunch of different ones. And as you can see, I have a few duplicates. These are pretty common, though, so I end up with duplicates because I end up buying lots of stuff, and there's always one or two in there when I'm looking for something else. Right, this shelf has some really cool stuff. This Bad ZiGGY I bought in the late 80s, early 90s for 29 cents out of a bucket at a Christmas tree shop in Cape Cod. I love this Bad ZiGGY. It's one of my favorite ZiGGYs. I had another major ZiGGY collector that was asking me for years to sell her this, because she really, really wanted it. And I just never saw it. I finally found another one, I think 2 years ago. But you don't see them. They come up once every decade, it feels like. Super rare. I love that ZiGGY. That ZiGGY is also... I love any of the Halloween-themed ZiGGY stuff. Okay, we have some ceramic statues. These are little pullback cars. You know, you pull them back and they go. Those are really cool. I love those. These are music boxes. Oh, no, that's a music box. That's just a little statue. That's a music box. That's really cool. I love the music boxes. I think they're just fun, decorative pieces. Another music box. Okay, this is just a shelf of bells. I know one of my regular subscribers said my ZiGGY stuff looks like grandma's parlor. And, you know, bells kind of do that. But it's ZiGGY. I love ZiGGY. Anything figure. I mean, you know, if you're a Batman fan, you'd probably want a Batman bell from the 80s. I don't know. I love them. I think they're cool. What's that one? This thing is... No, there's the clan. Bells are fun. And, you know, I have a few in the box. And I have more. This isn't all my bells. It's just the ones I could fit on the shelf. That's cool. And then we have another shelf of bells. These are the more common shape size ones. Oops, I can't ring all... I don't have enough room to ring all of them. But they're fun. Each one has a different picture. And I assume that there's some I'm missing because I've never really gone out of my way to buy bells. I just, again, these are common enough that they end up showing up in lots and collections when I buy them. So I feel like I'm probably missing some bells that have similar looks that I just don't... It doesn't click in my head that, oh, I don't own that. Which I'm sure happens with a lot of more common stuff. Okay, this shelf we have some, we have a candle holder, a paperweight. I've had this ornament since I was a little kid. I got some more ornaments. I like the Christmas stuff. I like the ceramic figural stuff. That's a cool cup. We got safes, different variants of them. The safekeeping version, the blank one. This one has a tag. It's rare to find them with a tag. This tag's kind of beat up. And then just a duplicate. Okay, this shelf, this is a box for those 1971 statues. So it's rare to find on the box. Usually they don't have the box. So it's fun to find one in the box. You don't find them in the box that often. And then I really like these planters. These are cool. I think I even have a Wonder Woman planter from this set. This company wants to make multiple different characters of these planters. So I really like those. These little stampers are cool. These are probably from a package, but I haven't seen the package that they go to. I got another tin litho candle box. Another one of the first ZiGGY I ever got. And another candle. Some of them are empty. Sometimes they have the candle. Some people use them. Some people didn't. Okay, this bottom row is nothing special. It's just a whole bunch of the same salt and pepper shakers. Those are so common. I think that's the most common ZiGGY thing you can find. And these banks are pretty common too. You usually see ZiGGY without his dog Fuzz. But there he is with his dog. Very cool. Okay, this is a shelf of ceramic stuff. This is like a toothpick holder. This is a little box. I have a whole bunch of different ceramic boxes. They're usually the square boxes. I only put the figural ones out on the shelf. These ones with the birthday theme are a little bit rare. You don't see those as often, but they're not super duper rare. You can find them once a month maybe. We got more ornaments. Now these three figures are super, super rare. They are from, I believe, Spain. It just says Comic Spain on the back, 1987. I don't know much about these figures. I've only seen them the one time I bought them on eBay. Super rare. Those you're not going to see almost ever. Okay, and then we got some more ceramic graduation figures. These are cool. I think they're cute. This shelf, we have a bunch of the frosted candle holders on the back. I really like these. These are fun. And then a whole bunch of the American PVC figures. These were really popular in the 80s, and if you grew up and you were a kid in the 80s, you probably had some of these or you knew someone who had them. And so it's a set I really like. I have a bunch of them on the card too. I'll pick them up whenever I see them. I mean, they're cheap. They're $1 or $2 usually. And then we have all the frosted glass candle holders. I just really like the way they look. They have a cool late 70s look to them. This shelf we have more of the little trinket boxes, but the figural ones on the back here. I have a bunch of these. I just put the figural ones out. The normal square ones I just have packed away right now. But I love them. They're fun. They're very fun. I like ceramic stuff. It's cool. And then we have a bunch of the minifigures. They're mixed. We got German ones, American ones, different variants of those two. Some German ones, just a lot of duplicates. These guys are all pretty common. But the words on them, they're all different. This one says Dreaming of You. This one has German on it. I can't read that. Dreaming of You, etc. Okay, this shelf we have another trinket box. And then we have some paperweights. The paperweights are pretty common. I think like this one might be a little bit rarer. He's a little bit loose. Paperweight. Okay, we have a few more American figures. And then these figures, I believe they're South American. I don't know if they're from Argentina or somewhere. I believe they were premiums that came out of Tang or Ovaltine or some other beverage where you'd get one figure every can. I don't know much about them. They're just super duper rare. The only time I saw them was when this guy was selling them. So it's not something that you can just go out and find any day. I've never seen them ever since I bought them. So I really like these. I mean, they're cheap plastic finger puppets, but because of their rarity, they're super awesome to me. Okay, this shelf we have another candle. We have some wooden ornaments. These are cool. This is another one of those late 80s Enesco Halloween figures. I believe I got this one for $1 at Cape Cod as well. Also really rare. These are mid 2000s wind-up figures. This is late 80s Enesco ceramic vampire. These three Halloween guys and these vampires are all made by Russ. I bought a bunch of those back in the day when they were selling them. I was able to get them wholesale, so I bought a bunch, sold a bunch. And I have just a few cases of each. Okay, this shelf, I have a couple of, these are like paper mache banks. These are kind of rare and hard to find in good shape. Like this one has a little chip. This is a ceramic spoon holder from Australia. Salt and pepper shakers. Oops, we got Fuzz hiding back there. More balloon figures. These again are hard to find in good shape. Usually the balloons are falling over or missing or broken. So I'll buy them anytime I see them. They're not really worth a lot. I can get them usually relatively cheap. But most of the ones I see are like that, where the balloon's broken off or just missing. So I would like to get a full set of those. Another plush doll. I have hundreds of plush dolls in my collection. I don't have them out on display because I don't like dealing with dust, and I don't like how dirty they get if you leave them out. So I don't really have that many out. This shelf, we just have more candles. A lot of these candles have dents, and it's hard to find candles in good shape. And like some of them are still sealed in the plastic. They look terrible in the plastic. So I debate whether I should open them up. But at the same time, I like preserving the original wrapper and everything. So it's kind of a catch-22. Do you open it up so it displays better, or do you preserve it in its original condition even if the wrapper looks terrible? So, and usually what I do is, like in this case, these guys are in their original wrappers, you know, with plastic. But then if I can find them both open, if this guy's open and these ones are sealed, I'll try to find them in both conditions so I can enjoy them on display and see them in their original packaging. Because it's kind of fun to think this is how someone would have bought this in the early 80s. Put it, you know, bought it for grandma. Grandma would put it on. More candles. This is a candle that was really beat up that I just painted. I don't know why I did that, but it looks better than it did. Okay, this shelf is really cool to me. These are German tin litho cans that I've never seen before. I got these from my friend who died a couple years ago, so I'm really happy to have a few rare pieces from her collection in my collection. So I'm really happy to have those, and these also came from her. They're 3 German candles. Super rare. I've never seen them before. Just so happy to have those. This shelf is really cool. These are Japanese wooden. This is like a letter rack. This is a little pencil cup from Japan. And this is another letter rack. I love these wooden boxes from Japan. I think I have one of these in its original retail box. I need to put a whole set of those together. This is another cool shelf with Japan stuff. This is a Figaro mug from Japan. I absolutely love the way it looks. He's climbing up the ladder, ready to swim. We have this little corked bottle. I don't know what it is. It's a little dusty. I gotta clean up here a little bit. This is a little flower vase kind of thing from Japan. This is an ashtray from Japan. These are 2 wonderful wind-ups from Japan. It's Ziggy with fuzz. In Japan, they made fuzz a brown dog instead of a white dog with a blue nose. So he's a little bit odd to me, but he's awesome. So we have Ziggy with fuzz, and then we have fuzz walking Ziggy. I love it. These are wonderful. These are two of my favorite Japanese figures. Okay. This is a mug from Japan. This is the first item I bought that's Japanese. I bought it on eBay in like 2004. Comes with a little saucer, square saucer. I bought it on eBay. I probably paid like 30 bucks for it. I had never seen it. I didn't know there was anything in Japan. And the person said that they had picked it up while vacationing in Japan in the early 80s. So I was so stoked to buy that. I did not realize there was so much stuff from Japan. So when I found Japanese auctions, it was awesome. It was like, you know, one of those dreams where you dream about finding stuff that you just never thought you would find, or there's like just closets full of amazing stuff. That's how I felt when I first found Japanese auctions. I mean, that's how I first felt when I first found eBay. You know, eBay, before eBay, I had maybe a box or two of Ziggy stuff, but then I found eBay and I started finding all the stuff I had as a kid, all the stuff I wanted. Now I just have thousands of things. This is a mug from Japan. It arrived cracked, so I glued it together. When I was younger, I would get so mad when stuff would break. I would have thrown something like that away in anger. But this stuff is rare enough that I'd rather have an example where it's cracked and put together than not at all. So I have to find a replacement for that. But I'm still happy to have it, even though it's broken. It's kind of like a comic book without the cover. Amazing Spider-Man #1 without the cover. It's still very desirable because of the history to it. So that's what I think about broken stuff. This is another mini cup. I love it. I love this Japanese stuff. This is an American flour jar or cookie jar. These are kind of rare from this set. These are from the late 80s, mid to late 80s. I think 88 maybe? No, 85. Okay, so I guess they're from the mid 80s with this pattern. This one company made a bunch of different things. You don't see them that often. And what I didn't realize is I have a set of these. I thought I didn't have the set, but I do have the set. There's the smaller one and the bigger one and the medium one. I think I must have bought the set from my friend who died, because it was a set I was looking for. I even bid on or offered, because another one of my Ziggy friends, she pointed out one of these on eBay last year, and I almost bought it, but now I realize I have it. I didn't realize I had it. That's really cool. Okay, on this shelf, I have a Ziggy plush, Ziggy salt and pepper shaker. I have a few of these little paperweights. I'm not sure exactly what you would call those. Another tin litho can. Another one of these flour jars again. This jam jar. Really love it. This is from Australia. I love the Australian ceramic stuff. You don't see this stuff that often at all. I think I might have picked that up for my friend as well. Okay, this shelf we have 4 big soup mugs. I love collecting Ziggy mugs. It's one of my favorite things to collect. I have hundreds of them. I only have a few in this room. Hopefully one day I have a big space that I can put the whole display out. Okay, on this shelf we have big, giant beer mugs. These are really cool. And a ceramic Christmas tree. I think that's a bank. Yeah, it has a bank on it. No, it's not ceramic. It's like paper mache. It's really cool though. I love the 80 figural stuff like that. Okay, this shelf has some more candles. Nothing too special. This is one of the round cylinder candles, but in its original box. You don't see the box that often, so I was very happy to find that. More of the little figural candles. These things I tend to pick up every time I see them cheap. And then this guy, his foot's broken. Still Ziggy though. Still love it. This shelf, I have a few more of the big soup mugs. Nothing too exciting. These are pretty common. And this is our early 80s pencil sharpener. These are pretty common, but this one had its box. I found a guy who had a bunch of original store stock relatively cheap, so I picked up a few of the pieces from that set. On this shelf, we have another square tin litho candle, regular candle, and a couple of candlestick holders. I really love these ones. These are pretty common, but they're early, 1978, so I was 2 years old when those came out. I really like those. This shelf, I just have some Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 games. This one's factory sealed, a couple in there complete in box, and this fun ashtray with the fireman on it. I love that. That's really cool. Alright, this shelf, I just have another paperweight. That's a duplicate, I think. Cake, another paperweight, and I have a stuffed Bumble. I love Bumble. I collect them anytime I see them. This shelf, I have one plastic mug, one ceramic mug, and a trinket box from the early 2000s. All right, this shelf, I have a couple super rare cardboard tape measures. These came from my friend, so I'm happy to have those in my collection. These are really rare to find in any condition. We got a paperclip holder, a Nesco frame. The Nesco stuff in the late 80s is always kind of hard to find, and a Nesco snow globe. That's really cool. All right, this shelf has one of my favorite ZiGGY items, which is a tin alarm clock. These are super rare. You don't find them that often. Maybe once every 5 to 10 years. I really love the clocks. There's only a couple that I have, but I'll buy them when I see them. We have another one of these frosted candles. I don't think, yeah, that's a duplicate from the other shelf. An ornament and a couple of German ceramic banks. These are really cool. I got these from a person, I believe I got these from a person who used to send me stuff from Germany every few months. I really enjoyed the German stuff. This shelf, we have a couple more of these little figures. I mean, they're common. I have so many of them. They usually end up multiplying your collection, because anytime you buy a lot with like 5-10 items, you're going to find a few figures. This is a cool animated, I believe, is he wound up still? No, I had to wind him up. But he, you know, he rings his thing and makes a little Santa sounds. That's really cool. And then this is a little plush ornament. I think I have a couple of these in the package. I like those though. Those are cool. And then I have these two super rare mugs, which sadly arrived broken. They arrived in pieces. But again, I glued them together. I'm just happy to have them in my collection like this. Hopefully one day I can find non-broken versions of them. But again, because of their rarity, I'm just happy to have them, and I'll have them in the broken form just so I want to preserve the history of the ZiGGY collectibles, and in 50 years, people might not even know these exist. And people might not even care. Do people even care about ZiGGY anymore right now? I care, so I'm just happy to have them. And so those are cool. Okay, so this is a super duper awesome shelf. I have another one of these tin alarm clocks, and I have 2 of them. I absolutely love these. I have one more, the yellow one, but it's missing on its feet. And then I have this little travel alarm clock that folds up. It folds up like that into this cool little compact case. I absolutely love this. I have 1 or 2 more of these in other colors. I have them buried away right now. When I first found one, it was just so awesome. I think it originally cost me $100 something for the first one. This one, I think I got half the price. And then this is super cool. This is original Bradley ZiGGY watch. And most of the time, I have a few of these ZiGGY watches. Most of the time, you just find the watch by itself. This is the first time I saw this watch in its original packaging. The labeling is, you know, oxidizing and aging, but I'm just so happy to have it in its original case. You just don't see them in the original case. That's super, super rare. I think the only time I saw it, and I think I got this from my friend as well, and so she must have found it the one time it got listed on eBay. I never saw it. I missed out, but then I bought it years later. On this shelf, I have some more ceramic ZiGGY stuff. This is just a loose salt and pepper shaker. He's missing the Santa. This is that spoon holder I told you about on the other shelf, but with his spoon. That's from Australia. This is like a little cookie dish or biscuit dish. That's also from Australia. And a couple of dinner bells from Australia. Those are really cool. I love the Australian stuff because it's super duper rare. Okay, this shelf, I have these really cool robots made by Tom Torrey. He called them Gamma Ray bots. I was really collecting a ton of them in the mid-2000s. This one here was kind of like a do-it-yourself version, so he didn't paint that one. And this one, I think he was trying to try some mass-produce, like making stickers version. These ones aren't as good as his other ones. The other ones he has are amazing. I really love them. I think I have 30 of them maybe, so I'm definitely going to do a video of those one day. And then this here is a really cool like spaceship created for Titan AE. I think it was made to give to people that worked on the movie, and it wasn't commercially available, but it's in a cool dome. Let me get a little closer in here. It's just a really cool looking spaceship. I love it. This shelf, I have another Australian ceramic. It's a really cool teapot, and then I have these canisters from the flower and tea set that I just showed you a couple seconds ago. On this shelf, I have another German ceramic, a random doll. This glass pitcher is super rare. I've only seen it once on eBay, and I missed out on it. My friend got it, and she sold it to me after she decided to clear out her collection a little bit. I bought it. It came with a couple glasses, but sadly one of the glasses broke, so I have to look for more of that set. And then we have another candle. Back on the top shelf here, I have another couple Bumble things, a little mint tin. These are just kind of randomly put here. A dog chew toy, a random dirty Ziggy, a cool old style joystick. The shelf above that, I just have more video games. I have some Atari 5200 games right here. Nothing too special, but vintage games are cool. I really like vintage games. I just like, I mean, some of the games are kind of suck, but I just love the way the cartridges look, and it just has a style that reminds me of the 80s. So that shelf is cool. Okay, this shelf, I just have a photo album, a music box, a few video games, nothing too exciting. Again, I just kind of started throwing video games on the shelf. I never really got around to sorting them. Okay, this shelf, I have this cool, sort of like a reproduction automaton robot from Japan, where you would wind it up, and then it was for tea ceremonies where you'd put you put the teacup on here and you start moving forward. So I thought that was really cool. I like mechanical figures, so this kind of represents the earliest mechanical figures made. I really like that. This is a rare Ziggy doll. You don't see these too often. These are the first ones with the vinyl heads, and they came in these boxes like this. So I have a bunch without the boxes, but it's rare to find the ones with the boxes. I only have a couple of those. Okay, this shelf, we have another German figure here. We got a cool toast cup, a kind of rare federated glass mug, another federated glass mug, an ornament, a rare 7-Up Christmas glass. And these are, I'm not sure what country they're from. I think they might be from America, but they're pencil sharpeners. They're like paper mache pencil sharpeners. Those are really cool. Okay, and then this shelf, I have some more paperweights, a candy dish, another random bell, a couple of these mini frames, and some candles. This is kind of just like a catch-all shelf. Okay, this shelf is all my British Ziggy dolls. These are super duper rare, so these are some of my favorite things in my collection. I would love to find more UK Ziggy dolls. If you're in the UK and you have Ziggy dolls, let me know, because I want them. Definitely want them. I got, 1, 2, 3 of the bigger plushes and 4 of the mini plushes. I love these things. These are some of my favorite Ziggy items in my collection. This shelf, I have a few animatronic figures. You know me, I do animatronic videos every once in a while. I like collecting them. I don't have a lot. I have maybe 20 or 30 animatronic figures, but I love them. I'm not going to play them because I don't want copyright strikes. But I love these. These are amazing. I would, if I had a spare room, I would fill it up with all these little animatronic figures. This shelf, I have a few, these are banks. This is mint in the box, unopened. A couple sealed candles. And some more coin banks. I like those coin banks. They're a little bit rare. And I have this candle in the original package. Okay, and then that shelf is just video games. Again, just a whole mix. Nothing. It's not sorted or anything, so it's just kind of jumbled all there. And the top row of the shelf, I just have a whole bunch of PS2 games kind of stacked up there. I started sorting them a little bit, but I need to sort them further. This bottom row here, I just have a whole bunch of Xbox 360 games just kind of thrown here. I need to sort them out. It's one of the things I plan on doing now, because I know I have duplicates that I need to get rid of. So it just kind of goes along here. Oh, and then over here, just some of my Dreamcast games, some PS1 games, some Wii games, some Super Nintendo games. I don't even know if I have anything exciting here. I just kind of stacked them up. Sports Blue, NBA Jam, a fun sport. Oh, Street Fighter 2, that's a cool Super Nintendo game. Paperboy, Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, You know, so a couple classics mixed in here. I really need to get my games organized. They're kind of all over the place. And then this is a crazy monster creature I sculpted when I was a little boy. I probably did it right after watching Gremlins. We always pretended like he was a diseased monster that we would play with when I was little. He's cool. Okay, this shelf I have some more Atari 5600 games buried right here. Nothing too exciting. Some more PS2 games. I mean, there's a few rarer ones in the collection here. I know Rule of Rose is kind of a hard one to find. I was very happy to own that. And then we have some more games here. PS2, PS3. I kind of have some random sealed games. Sometimes if I see random sealed games for $1, I just pick them up and just hold on to them in case they become collectible one day. Maybe I can trade it for something more exciting. This shelf, I have a couple of Italian ZiGGY Clip-It figures in the original package with little note holder stand things. Those are really cool to me. This shelf, we have some rare plastic mugs. This is a Japanese plastic cup. A little like hand forged ZiGGY pin. Another German ZiGGY box and a hand painted ZiGGY bank. This shelf, these are all, the figures on the bottom here are all from Italy. These are pencil sharpeners, I believe. Yeah, so these ones are like hollow plastic. Those are cool. And then these are Italian vinyl figures. They're very similar to the American versions, but they're more of like a rubbery rubber instead of PVC. And they're slightly different. Like the American version has a candle on its cake. So that's cool. And then these are a full case of pencil sharpeners from Italy. That one, the box is all covered in foxing and all that, but it still cost me maybe $100. But it's a full case, it's original, it's still pretty awesome to me. Then we got a couple of odds and ends here, a couple of figures from Gru. I love Gru. Gru is one of my all-time favorite comics. Okay, this shelf, I have a whole bunch of my Atari 2600 games. I bought a whole bunch of Atari games back in the early 90s thinking they would be collectible. So I go to thrift stores, I pick them up for a quarter, 50 cents, and then they were one of the first things I sold when eBay came around in the late 90s. And it was cool, you know, I was getting $2, $5, $8. I was really excited to sell them, but I kind of missed having them, so I ended up, I collect them again. Anytime I see an Atari game for $1, I'll pick it up. Even if it's a duplicate, it's fine, because I can always sell duplicates for a couple bucks in my store. So I'm, $2 to $3 for the common stuff, up $10, $20 for the rarer stuff. So I pick up Atari games all the time whenever I see them. And then I have a couple of these ZiGGY figures here. These are from Mexico. They're kind of cheap, hollow, rubber, finger puppet type ZiGGYs. And I believe they're kind of bootleg. I don't know if they're officially licensed. The first time I saw them was just a couple years when people started listing from Mexico. I hadn't really seen them before that. I've been collecting ZiGGY for a long time, and I hadn't seen them until 2 or 3 years ago. So I picked those up, and I've picked up a bunch since. Okay, this shelf underneath, just a lot more Atari games. Again, I'll pick up Atari games whenever I see them for $1, and a couple more of the Mexican figures right here. I got to the point where people were listing so many, I had to stop buying them because they're costing me like $5, $10 each, and I just couldn't afford to buy every single one that was listed. This shelf is just chocked full of those Mexican bootleg ZiGGY figures. I really like them. I like having a lot of them. I'll end up collecting more, I'm sure, down the road. But I just got overwhelmed because people just kept on listing them. So I'm assuming they were kind of common and cheap. So I decided just to let it die down a little bit and start paying. I want to pay $1 or $2. I don't really want to pay $5 or $10. And then these are cool. I have 4 final figures. Like this one looks like these shapes look like they're ones from Germany. But these ones are actually Colombian. If you look on the bottom, it says ZiGGY and Friends Die Mark made in Colombia. So it's the same sculpts, but they licensed them to Colombia instead of Germany or the US. Okay, this shelf has a cool bank from Germany. I think that was Germany. No, actually, no, that's from Italy. That's Italian, so that's rare. The Italian stuff is rare. I've only started collecting them in the last couple of years. A couple more of these egg banks right here. Some of them are banks, some of them are just paperweights. Another pencil case from Japan. And then probably one of the favorite things in my collection, I have all the stuff I own This is probably one of my prized possessions. This is the original artwork for the Christmas Eve 1976. I was born in 1976, so this would have been from my very first Christmas, the original artwork for the comic published that day. And it's just a beautiful piece of work. It's more than just a cartoon strip. I think he actually went out of his way a little bit to actually make it into a work of art. Beautiful. I love that. I love early 70s original ZiGGY artwork. It's hard to find. You don't find it that often, but it's not too expensive. I got that for maybe $100, $150, and I lucked out on that. What happened was Tom Wilson had donated that to a children's hospital in Buffalo, New York, to auction off to help raise some money. And so the person who won it had it in their closet for 30 years, and then they gave it to their son-in-law to help pay for some bills, or I'm not sure exactly what the expenses were, but he said that's how he got it. And so he sold it. I bought it on eBay. I lucked out. I feel like such an awesome piece. Okay, this shelf, I just have a random tie plush. I got some pins here, some more of the banks. I do really like these banks. I like them when I can find them in the box. Shelf below, I just have a few of my GameCube games and some German snow globes. These are kind of rare. I kind of like them. Another candle and a random bookend. This is kind of common, so I end up with a ton of those in my collection. I have this animatronic Bumble. I love Bumble. He's super cool. Technically, that belongs to the cool kid, but I love it. It's on the wall here. Some of my Nintendo games. Another, this is like a water bottle warmer, cooler thing for Bumble. I think it's for dogs, I guess, to chew on. I got in the box NES cleaning kit. A random mix of games here. So I have, some PlayStation 1s, a Monopoly in the box complete for the NES. So nothing too exciting. I really need to sort out all my games and get them more organized. A bunch in complete in box, the television and Atari 2600 games, and some other random games on that side. Some Genesis games, nothing too exciting. Some Master System games, nothing too exciting. And just a whole bunch of booklets for stuff. Super Nintendo games, NES games. Now remember, most of my game collecting I pick up for $1 or $2. So I do have some rare valuable games, but I don't really go on my way to buy them. I just like finding stuff that looks interesting for cheap. That's just the way I collect. I'm a bargain hunter. Some 360 games. Got Nintendo Zelda Ocarina of Time, great game. Bunch more Atari games, some Xbox games, Atari games, bunch of PS3 games. I don't really have much for newer systems. I just haven't been seeing them yet at garage sales. Shelf of Wii games, lots of great games on that shelf. Some of my GameCube games, some great games, but nothing too exciting. Okay, then let's go over to this little side shelf here. Let's see, on the top here, it looks like I have a random Optimus Prime kind of mid-transforming, a Monster High puzzle, and a little pose doll elf. Some more ZiGGY trophies that I need to clean up. This is just the kind of catch-all shelf with some random stuff. I have a cool old clock, another trophy, some booklets, a ZiGGY doll. That was actually, when my wife was pregnant, I got her this Dr. ZiGGY doll to make her feel a little bit less scared, so she brought that everywhere to all our appointments and stuff to make her feel better. And then these are just some cool dragon figures and stuff that I bought. I found those at a Salvation Army. Okay, in this shelf I have this cute little old school figure. I don't think it's not a Hummel or anything. This belonged to my wife's great aunt, so that's just kind of something to remind us of her. This is a cool statue I found on eBay. A lot more Gru figures. I love the Gru figures. A couple more of these bootleg Mexican ZiGGY figures. On this shelf, I have some of my handhelds. I love buying handheld systems. They're just, the best way to play video games, I think. Just when you have a little free time, if you have one on your desk, or when you can flip it open, play a game for 20 minutes. I love that one. It just has that old school Nintendo look to it. So cool. Little Star Trek phaser. My wife gave me, I think last Christmas, Olimar from Pikmin. I love Pikmin. Okay, and then some of my Blu-rays, Stephen Chow movies. I love Stephen Chow. Anything he does is great. Futurama, Breaking Bad, Attack on Titan. I got my Kaiari Pamu Pamu concert Blu-ray, some DC animation, the original Red Dawn. I love those 80s classics. Some weird Japanese movie. I haven't watched that yet. Wolverine, not the best movie. X-Men Day of Future Past, pretty decent. Approved for Adoption. This was a cool little animation about a young Korean boy that was adopted by a French family. Jewel in the Nile, 80s classic. All right, on this shelf I have a couple PSPs. I pretty much buy any handheld. If it's $5 to $10 at a garage sale, I'll pick it up. I just like having them. Let's see, lots of cloud. We got RoboCop, 80s classic. Garden of Words, great animation, just really beautiful. I still have to see this director's newest movie that came out last year. It was super duper popular, called Your Name, I believe. I really want to see that. He makes really beautiful movies. Was it Makoto Shinkai? I think. And then I think this is also one of his movies. Children of Lost Voices, another beautiful anime. The storyline is kind of sluggish, but it looks gorgeous. Beautiful movie. And then Summer Wars. I love this. This is one of my favorite anime movies. This is Mamoru Hosoda. Is that how you say his name? I love his movies. He makes really great anime movies. This is also his Wolf Children. Another fantastic film. You should watch. If you like anime, those are definitely ones to watch. We got Paprika. It's really weird but kind of interesting anime. RWBY. I heard it was good, but I just couldn't get into it. I just thought the animation was kind of weak. Hannah, great action film. I loved Hannah. Limitless, another great action film. Action thriller kind of film. I really loved it. Kingdom Come, Fistful of Quarters, one of my favorite documentaries. Such a great documentary on retro games. I love it. Robot Chicken, Lost Boys, another 80s classic. More DC animation. I really like the DC animated movies. Battle Royale, great Japanese horror action film. The original Stargate. I'm a Stargate fan. Katy Perry. I guess I kind of like her a little bit. Spears and Munzel high definition benchmark. That's just so you can set up your system. Original Conan. I love old school Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. They're my favorite. Transformers Prime. Love Transformers. Not sure if I love that series that much, but I got it cheap. Lord of the Rings box set with all the movies, all extended cuts. Very awesome Blu-ray box set. And then the Tarantino box set. Another really awesome with most of his movies. The newest ones aren't here because it's a couple years old, but very awesome box set. Who doesn't love Tarantino? Okay, this shelf. Let's see. We got some more Blu-rays. We got Up on Poppy Hill. A good Studio Ghibli movie. Not my favorite, but it's just a fun little heartwarming movie. One of my all-time favorite Studio Ghibli movies, Grave of Fireflies. I haven't opened it since I bought it. It's still sealed because this movie is very hard to watch. It's a beautiful, wonderful storyline, but you're going to cry. If you watch that, your tears, and I just haven't been in the mood to cry, so I haven't watched it. He is one of the best action films ever made. I just love the big gun battle scene, just the sound of it and everything. Just such a great movie. Avatar, I enjoyed Avatar. Avatar is pretty fun. Pretty cool movie. Saving Private Ryan, good war film. Spielberg, I like Spielberg movies. We got, this is a containment unit from the Ghostbuster house from the 80s. Game Boy Color in like fuchsia, reddish color with Super Mario Brothers in it. 2 Game of Thrones sets. A Wii Sports, some PSP games. Men in Black, I just wanted to watch it. I watched it. I should probably sell that. I didn't like it that much. I mean, it was okay, but I didn't love it. Dune, love David Lynch films. The Host was pretty good. Not the best movie, but I like Saoirse Ronan. She's a good actress, so I enjoy that. And one of my all-time favorite movies, Logan's Run. Love Logan's Run. 70s sci-fi, some of my favorite. Pacific Rim I really liked. Redline is a pretty awesome like race-style anime. I really enjoyed that. Son of Batman, another great DC animated movie. And that's just some of my Blu-rays. Most of my Blu-rays are in my bedroom right now. And, you know, the cool kid digs them all the time. So those are more accessible. I really should set them up. Maybe I'll do a video of just my favorite Blu-rays that I have one day. Okay, this shelf is just some of the Papas, the robots that I made. This is kind of my store mascot. He's my character I designed. So this is the one I sculpted, 15 years ago. Another one I sculpted. This is like a plaster body I kind of made. This was a butt fighter I designed. And then this is a Pop Fuzz made out of Legos. He's pretty cool. Just some random stuff. I have some Zelda buttons. I got these at Toy Fair last year, I believe. And some of my pins I had made with Pop Fuzz. And this was just a little angel girl holding a cat. I bought that right after my cat died, so I thought it was a cute little tribute to her a little bit. One of my wife's piggy glasses. She likes pig characters. And these are two Jasmine Beckett Griffith statues based on her little fairies that she draws. I kind of like her fairies, so I thought these are just cute little statues. After these came out, she's released so much other merchandise, so I kind of want to collect it, but it gets a little overwhelming, and some of it I just not done as well. These two I thought were done pretty good. So this bottom shelf is nothing too awesome, just some spare card boxes I use as like shelves to put stuff on. Got this fun little Wolverine vinyl figure. I don't know what series this is from, but I really like it. I want to get more of these. And just some other random doodads. So I hope you guys enjoyed my room tour. I have lots of stuff in this room. I had a lot of fun doing it. It took me a couple days to film everything and try to show you everything that's in here. I'm thinking in the next month or two, I might actually switch out all the back and put some other stuff. I might start making a regular thing where I switch it out once a month or every other month, just to make it more interesting. And what do you guys want to see? Do you want me to cover these walls with Funko Pops, action figures, dolls, anything really? You name it, I can put it up there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you really liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If this is the first time you're on my channel and you really enjoyed this kind of content, please subscribe. If you have any ideas for stuff I should do, post it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!